Hey Aspire fam, I'm here with Kirk Buffington, one of our longtime members, probably someone who's been here for, I don't know, maybe the longest out of everybody.
Almost 12 years.
Almost 12 years he's been training with me, and I'm super grateful to have him in my life and our life and share your story a little bit. So what brought you to Aspire and working with me back in the day?
Well, back in the day, when I came to you, I weighed 195 pounds. I had high blood pressure, cholesterol off the charts, and I saw your ad in one of the magazines. And what I liked about what you said in that ad that day was that every client was different. Mm-hmm. You didn't have a canned, everybody does the same workouts kind of thing. So that's what started it. Mm-hmm. And what I remember most about the first day is that I walked into Intense Fitness. There was this tire sitting there on the floor. And I looked at you, I said, I don't want to flip tires. I need to lose weight. I need to get my blood pressure under control.
Yeah.
And a few years later, I was flipping tires. So.
You were, yeah.
So that's what brought me to you. And, it's been a great ride. I'm glad to have you in my life too.
Yeah, and you've achieved so many things since we've been working together. Obviously, you just said some of the health benefits that you've achieved. We were talking about another one of those achievements, which was the monkey bars during an obstacle course race a couple years ago. Yeah. But what would you define as kind of one of or some of your greatest accomplishments since we've worked together?
Well, one would be running the half marathon, the Disney half marathon. Mm-hmm. That was, just something I never thought I would be able to do. Mm-hmm. Another one was 1 year, the CrossFit Games had the marathon distance row. Mm-hmm. And you took it on yourself as a challenge to yourself to do that same row. Mm-hmm. And I took it as a challenge to do 10,000 meters that same week. Mm-hmm. And then I turned around and ran a 5K with you the very next day. Yeah. So that weekend I remember.
Very cool.
The first time I flipped a tire. Those are the kinds of things that I remember.
And kind of ironically, many of the things at least, you first told me that you never wanted to do or had no intention of doing. Which is fine. I mean, we all I do believe that everybody's on different paths and should have different goals. But those can evolve.
Right.
And what you did on day one and month one and year one are very different than what you've done over time. And it's still allowed to change too.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Is there a particular moment that made you feel most proud of something you accomplished within the gym or outside the gym?
In the gym, there are a couple of things that really stick out in my mind. One of them is my first 26-inch box jump.
Okay.
That, and if you remember, there was a time that I could only box jump to the height of a plate. Yeah. A road plate.
Yeah, an inch.
I was coming off some real bad reactions to cortisone, and I worked my way back up. Mm-hmm. The first time that I did a box jump from a seated position. Mm-hmm. The first time I did a CrossFit Games workout. Yeah. Those are the things that stick out because come on, CrossFit? What the hell is CrossFit?
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things.
Cool. And overall, you mentioned it a little bit, but overall, how has your health improved since you started training?
Wow. Well, Sean, you're probably one of the few people that really know my full health story and some of the challenges that I've had. I got pneumonia in 2017. It was so bad that they intubated me, and I was intubated for 14 days. Mm-hmm. And coming out of that, they told Glenn, if he recovers, he'll need long-term care. Mm-hmm. Well, here I am today. Yeah. And that is very much because of the shape I was in when I got the pneumonia.
Correct.
You're one of the few people that know I have lived with HIV for almost 40 years. And the reason I'm still healthy is I'm compliant with my medication, but I also take care of myself.
Yeah.
So those are some of the really great benefits for me, health-wise.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing. And when you think about life, obviously those metrics are incredible. but how does that translate kind of to life outside the gym? I know you like to travel a lot, go on cruises. How does your fitness translate to those
Wow.
activities?
You know, I'm 70 years old, and we're still schlepping bags off and on trains when we travel. And we look at, Glenn and I both, we look at folks that are on the cruises with us. They can hardly walk. And even if they're as old as I am, they can hardly walk, they can hardly lift things up. And being able to continue to travel and being able to do things for ourselves instead of having to, you know, hire somebody or, hey, could you lift this up for me kind of thing. You know, we plan on traveling for another 10 years at least.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we can do that is because we're both healthy.
Totally. And it's so funny. Tim Ferriss talks about it in some of his books of having, rather than waiting till retirement to travel, to take smaller little breaks periodically throughout life. But it's because of that. It's because most people retire and they're so hurt or sick or whatever the thing is, that when they travel, they're not truly able to experience it. You guys are the opposite of that. You're scaling buildings, about to walk over the Sydney Bridge, you know, doing incredible things. And there wasn't a need to do this when you were 30 because you can do it now. In fact, you're probably in better shape now than you were then.
I am absolutely in better shape now than I was at age 30. Absolutely.
And you're able to actually go on these trips. You're able to not just sit around a pool deck and drink cocktails, which I hope you do a little bit of.
A little.
But you're able to do some amazing things while you travel. I love hearing about it.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know, my final question, you can add anything else if you want, is just what makes you keep coming back every day?
That's a very good question. Staying up with Glenn, for one thing. Glenn's amazing. You know, he is in amazing shape, and he's the same age as I am. So I got to keep up with him first and foremost.
Yeah.
And being able to continue to go on these traveling trips that we do, being able to, you know, maintain ourselves and not having to, you know, like I said, but more than anything, it's just my how I feel about myself when I leave here, and how much better I feel having trained, you know, whether it's a day or a week or whatever it is. It's just that mental health more than anything else is what keeps me coming back.
Excellent. And you inspire, I've told you this before, but I'll continue to tell you, you know, we help to inspire you, obviously, and to do those things for you, but you inspire so many people here, not only by sharing your story today, but just seeing how hard you work in here. It makes me get rid of excuse. I often work out after you at noon, and there's a lot of excuses that sometimes go through my head, but I think back to you walking in our door an hour ago and what you accomplished, so I'm like, well, shit, I can do that. Come on, I can do half of what he did at least. And you inspire me daily, and you inspire a lot of people here. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. I appreciate you being in my life, and I'm glad we can add value to yours.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
I love
you.
having you in my life.
Thank you.